Dot's legacy done dirty. So let me start off by saying what an absolute darling Dot was, and how June Brown was a fantastic actress with a special place in British legend history. Yeah, sure, she was cool.
Right, I think you're kind of... June Brown is British history, in my opinion. Dot Cotton is only soap history. I'd say.
She crossed over. She's one of the most iconic characters in soap ever.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. She did cross over. Like the Queen when she crossed the bridge.
She is sorely missed and her passing was heartbreaking, true. With that being said, she deserved so much better in terms of her legacy, and the continuation of the Dot Cotton lineage should have given us likeable characters who we want to see more of. However, we were left with Dottie. What a manipulative and heartless individual who thrives off making others miserable and a repeated user. Nick Cotton's daughter. There we are, just in case people forgot that.
It's Rocky Horton's daughter, I'll have you know.
Nope. Rocky, albeit a half-brother of Nick's on the other side, he still has the Cotton name. A habitual conman who is out to get things for himself. Reese, a distant relative. He is feckless and lacks any sort of likability whatsoever. He has had a few funny lines here and there, but he lacks substance and can be annoying at times. See, I'm not even that big of a Reese stan anymore. He is annoying now. He's just a little weirdo. Like, they want to muddy the waters of Reese, and I don't know why, because we're not going to see what they're setting up for a while. But, like, I could see him just leaving at Christmas. I could see Sonia being like, you know what, fuck this. I've had enough of your shit, Reese. You useless bellend. Fuck off.
Where do I start on this? Dot does have a legacy on the show. But
it's
her
Sonia.
legacy...
It's not even related to her.
Yeah, you ruined my point, but yeah, it's basically... you are correct. You are correct. Her legacy is Sonia. It's no one else.
Actually, she may be related to Dot. So.
She's a Jackson, isn't she?
Yeah. I think it's like by...
Cousin. Bilingual. Bisexual.
I think it's like a step grandma. Don't even know if that exists. Obviously, her granddad was Jim. Yeah, who the fuck knows on it? Fuck it, who cares? Who cares? Yeah. And someone says, though, her relatives being shit is very on point for Dot, though. Pretty much all of them were dodgy to some extent. Her real legacy is the impact she had on other people. Sonia's the most obvious candidate. Yeah, no, very true. Dot was always kind of around the rough ones, right? Obviously, she had Nick, who is constantly doing fucking heinous shit around. Charlie Branning was a massive piece of shit. And like a wayward kind of continually doing crime stuff and getting Nick involved in dodgy stuff. But obviously the quality of Dot is that even though most of her family, like, they still appreciate her, it was really the work that she did with a lot of other, like, characters. Other characters like Fat Boy, like Stuart, like, you know, a lot of these relationships that she formed with the more, like, kind of messed up characters, which really kind of gave her a big place. And obviously a lot of them are gone, so you don't really have that representation there anymore.
I don't know if this thread is going to go into it, but I definitely feel like they ruined her legacy because the previous writer, he ruined Alfie and he fucking ruined Dot because it's like, guys, do you want me to die on the show? No, June, you're fine. Guys, you do know I don't have that much left in me, but
guys, I'm like 93, please. And they went,
like,
nah. Sit there, be quiet, shut up. It's like, I'm fucking Dot Brannon, for fuck's sake.
I say. Yeah, say that. Ah, come on, lads. I'm fucking going to Ireland.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
she was 95 when she died in 2022. Obviously, in 2020, she went. I mean, look. Obviously, I've had a massive rant on the channel about this before, but a lot of people probably weren't here for that. But ultimately, my issue with Dot's exit, as much as I was really sad for it, she got given a fucking dodgy end of the stick. Because you're telling me, look, June, you've been great, but it's not been easy doing this for the last time. It's not been easy to keep you on the show. Your eyesight's going, your hearing's going. You can't even really read the scripts anymore. But I think it's time that Dot dies, and she'll go, all right, sound. Yep, fine, I'll do it. And then they could have had probably the saddest storyline possibly ever.
I would have loved if... Right, do you remember Ethel's death and Peggy's death?
Yes.
I would basically do that with Sonia, replacing Dot. So you have like that kind twist where instead of Dot doing the tablets to herself, she can't really move, she's very weak, she's very frail. And you're like, I did this for a friend 20 or so years ago. Her name was Ethel. You might have heard of her, Sonia. No, I need you to do this for me. I'm too old. I don't want to live. I just want to die. Please, please help me. I think you could have that emotional scene where Sonia's giving her the tablet, so she's doing that.
Yeah, I mean...
I see you, Dot.
I don't think I'd
dead.
necessarily... I'd like the idea of redoing the Ethel thing. Probably... I don't think I'd frame it slightly differently. Just because I'd have a bit more build to it. Because, we didn't see Ethel much in the last few years on the show. But that death is still fucking tragic. But yeah, I just have something similar. I still had something like that. Just because, mate, imagine how much of a shame it would have been if we didn't get a Peggy Mitchell death. Imagine how much of a shame if we didn't get a Pat Butcher death. But because you didn't want to take a fucking chance on a fucking great, servant to the show for, 30 years, 35 years? It's just robbed of an actual exit storyline. It's just... I just really hate it. It's why I didn't really give a shit about the Dot exit or the Dot, funeral. Because, yeah, it's sad. But we could have had so much better, Instead, we just shit all over an actress who gave everything to the show.
I love the funeral episode. It is still sad to me. But again, I'll always reference it. The saddest death to me is not Ethel's. Mainly because I relate to it both because of Barbara Windsor and Peggy. Both had dementia on the show and off the show. God really wasn't kind to her. Fuck you, God. Yeah, Barbara Windsor had one of the most saddest deaths to me, where she's talking to Pat and they're going, "You bitch, you cow."
Yeah, it's really good.
And I relate to that because my nanny had dementia. But I would have loved if we had something similar with Dot. Now, obviously, you can't get Ethel because that would take a lot of CGI and a lot of work. That would literally, that would probably kill the BBC. Let's be honest. I would definitely put a big dent in their legacy. But, it's so sad. Why didn't Dot get a goodbye? I understand we got Reese out of it, who was good at the start, and now Chris Clenchaw shitting all over him. Fuck you, Chris. But why didn't we just give Dot a proper send off?
Yeah,
why didn't we see June Brown die on screen? June Brown is Dot, not the actual June Brown.
Yes, it's such a I don't know if anybody else feels like it in a similar way, but it's just a stain on the fucking show. Because look, it would have been difficult, but nobody's saying that. Yeah, you'd have to change the way you would accommodate her, but fucking, it's Dot Cotton. She's been on the show since the beginning. Well, not the beginning. She was like 6 months in, but, you know. She was in the show since 85. One of the most iconic characters here. Like, the show would have been remarkably worse without the Dot character. How many big storylines has she carried over the years? Like, how many fucking important... It's still one of my biggest, like, grievances with the, like, 20, that kind of period. Like, because it's just fucking miserable, isn't it? Like, I can't wait for them to not kill Phil off till Steve McFadden dies, and we don't get Phil death. It's like, what the fuck? You know, like, you can't do this. This is what they're here for. That's the unfortunate crowning moment. You say, all right, Dot's been put to rest now. Now June can just do the rest of what she wants to do. But instead, you just don't give her that, and now you just got to be like, this was so sad. We didn't want to help her at all. Like, look, you make the exceptions for her. You change the way you do your scripts. You fucking come on. There we are. This was supposed to be an actual Dot legacy video. This is me moaning about the Dot death again. But I'll read more comments afterwards.
It is just sad when you look at it because she is an icon. It's basically like, imagine if Den Watts didn't come back. I know why you're referencing Den, but fuck it, he's one of my favorite characters. I can fucking reference him. It's like if you didn't bring Den back, his legacy's gonna be he got shot in a canal. And yes, although he did kind of ruin his legacy on EastEnders by sticking his finger in his mouth and shit talking the actors and actresses, he did get a proper send off. Dot, on the other hand, never shit any of the actors, never said any bad word, said nothing. She said positive things, didn't go on media, shit on the EastEnders like Tanny Dyer, like Leslie Grantham. She did none of that. She was EastEnders through and through. She could have left and went to Hollyoaks. She could have left and went to Coronation Street, but she didn't. She stayed loyal, and she was there from the start to the finish. Well, not the start, but she was there until she couldn't be there anymore. And just to give her nothing in return is what's sad to me. She literally gave you half of her, not even half, 80% of her life to you, and in return you gave her a pile of shit wrapped up, and just went, have this pile of shit. Why? Because you're a pile of shit. Why can't you fucking read? Why are you blind? Why are you deaf? I'm old. What do you expect?
Well, it's your fault, lads.
It's your fault.
Like, it's just like, how can you? I mean, the way that you could tell those writers were absolute hot garbage is fucking Ian left. Ian never leaves, and Ian went, "Fuck this shit." Max left. All these long-running characters. Now they're trying to plug the holes and bring a lot of them back. Because, you know, it's like, guys, we're good now. I swear, we're not going to fuck you over. You know? Like, oh. It's just a massive shame. But, you know, let's actually get into some of the actual comments on this one. Someone just says, even though Sonia robbed from her, though, if they go to the branding route, I do hope that Lauren's return and Amy now being the sensible teen, they fly that flag. I mean, I don't know who's going to be... Obviously, in soaps, you don't want to kind of keep... You want them to become a character of their own. But, you know, some characters do follow the similar trajectory, right? Like, Kat is probably going to become the next Pat, right? That's probably how it's going to work, you know? She's going to be that like, heart of gold, but will still slag you off to no end. She's going to be the next Pat. That's the whole fucking point. Linda's angle to kind of be that Peggy matriarch type deal. You know, bit of a stretch because obviously a lot of years to come before that time. But like, and yeah, Dot is kind of on the trajectory to be a mix of Dot and Pauline together. Which is kind of wild. And yeah, people just kind of saying, Dot was pretty much surrounded by awful relations, and the Cottons, aside from Dot, were never known for being pleasant or trustworthy. Her family done her dirty so many times of her lifetime. They had potential for nice Cottons with Andrew and Charlie, neither of whom showed face at Dot's funeral. But I dare say we won't see the last of Dottie. Not at all.
I just want to give a wrestling example, if you don't mind. It's like it's like fucking Big Show. He was loyal to the company, to WWE. Yeah, he wasn't there in the start, but he was loyal throughout all the years. And then I went, "What do you want me to do? Cry, you little bitch, cry." It's like, you do know I'm giving you my life, and they're like, "Yeah, cry, cry. Say you're poor, ha ha. You're fat, ha ha." And it's like, I'm leaving. Like, I'm surprised Dot never just did the whole thing and went, "Fuck you, I'm leaving."
I mean, she did
I'm
that in
go-
the end, right? Like, she
no, no,
did
I know
that.
she did in the.
She did that
I
in
know
the
she.
end. Nick Holtman kind of did a statement for her and just went, "Mate, they treat her like us. Like, she wanted to do big storylines. They didn't want to do. They didn't want to give her anything.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
understand she did that in the
she
lot.
did like there was just like the famous line like, alas and alack, I'll never go back. And just last we saw of June Brown, really.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is I'm surprised she never went to another show or anything like that. I know she was too old, but she could have if she wanted to.
She could have, but just loyal, isn't it? Really. Someone says, I hate how Dot literally spent most of the end of life with Charlie and Matthew and was still close with Rose and Andrew. And the best they could come up with for them not coming was them being on a cruise and Charlie not come yet, paying for the majority of the funeral with no actual reason for not coming being stated. Do appreciate all the mentions of Jim and Ethel in those episodes, though. I think I should probably go and watch Dot's funeral episode again, because at the time I really wasn't a big fan of the show, and not surprised because it was a fucking shit time in the show's history. But yeah, maybe I'd enjoy it more now than I did then, but then I was just angry.
See, here's the weird contrast that we have. You obviously have been a long life soap fan. You obviously, majority of your life has been watching soaps. About majority of them, let's be
I'd
honest.
say, yeah, like, yeah, fair enough.
And I would flip on the channel. Like, it's like when you watch a TV show, like let's just say Two and a Half Men. It's on. You probably won't really enjoy it, but you'll watch it, and then you'll probably wait for Top Gear to come on. Um, but it's that kind of thing that I have with EastEnders. I
The
was the kind
episode's
of
been released. Sorry.
oh, um, it's that kind of thing I have for EastEnders. I was a fan. I wasn't really a fan. I was more of a casual. But Dot's exit brought me into the show because it really helped me. Because I wanted to see how they did her. Like, because she can't really just go. She's dead. Get her body, throw her in a hole, fuck off. They really, even though it wasn't how I intended it, I wanted her to go out. It was a good send off, and it's the reason why Watching Walford is Kiss now, because I watched that exit, and then I went, gotta watch Danny Dyer's exit. Fucking hated it,
Yeah.
and then I watched the New Year's, and that's where I come off it. Fuck you, Lily Slater. So, things come full circle, and I just want to thank June Brown, because without you, there would be no Watching Walford.
Yeah.
Even though it's mostly because of Lily Slater, let's be honest. But
yeah, I would say, I mean, I'm pretty sure I want to do a video on this at some point, kind of talk about the kind of the soap journey, because obviously I watched it as a kid a bit in that like 2008 to like 2010 period, and then kind of gave up and then stopped giving a fuck. And then I think it's like 2018 or so, like at the end of the year, got into it. I was working, I was enjoying watching EastEnders again. And then I was just an EastEnders fan for a good 2 years or so, watching the odd storyline of like Corrie or Hollyoaks, but wasn't necessarily into it. And then around 2020, I believe, I got into Corrie, I got into Hollyoaks, and then roughly after I kind of watched Emmerdale, but that never really came across. But yeah, is there too much really to? I would love to see the Cottons be brought back at some point, though. That would be pretty nice. I think that because Rocky's the last Cotton on the show, and they still need these big families, and I would love to see I mean, first, I wouldn't mind seeing the original recast, the original like actress who played Dottie Cotton, because they didn't really need to recast her, but ultimately, I don't know. I'd love to see the Cottons back in any actual sense. But it's just kind of a really weird family at this point. But I think it'd be good to bring them back to the forefront of the show. And, still kind of pretty much do, like, the Fowler Beals of the, like, early days of EastEnders and just have the Cottons and the Brannings as, like, one fucking group. And it kind of strengthens the family and, like, I think it would be cool. But I do believe that Dot's legacy has been done dirty. But I think it's kind of just the way that I don't know. I think it's just you can only have so many characters, and I don't think the Cottons are at the forefront anymore. Most of the intrigue was with Dot and Nick, and obviously they're both dead on the show, and there's no way to have them back. Dottie was criminally underused in her time on the show, and she was just like, yeah, sure, she was a bitch, and that's the whole point. But they committed to the character sometime. It's like, oh yeah, she's just using Vinny to have a place to live. Oh, why don't you love me, Dottie? And then Dottie's like, fuck off, you fucking simp. But like they never fully committed to her being a proper villain. But then they also, I don't know, they didn't know what the fuck to do with the character. And obviously Rocky is on his way out, so, and then I assume there'll be a divorce imminent with Kathy, so she'll be back to being a Beale. And then we'll kind of just forget about Dot's legacy, really, and the Cottons are gonna be old news. And it's just quite sad, really. Quite sad. But it's a simple time with soaps, alright? The Cotton name's never gonna be dead, I don't think. I still think there'll always be one or two kicking about somewhere. Or maybe there'll be a baby, maybe Dot and Reese, if they have a child, will call the baby Dot. Like they love to do. But they'll have some callbacks. They always do. They always love to remember history. And Crenshaw actually enjoys writing for the show, as far as we can tell, and actually likes the show, unlike the previous writers who went, fuck you, everyone. Sounds cheers. Yeah, so Dot's legacy has been done dirty, but ultimately Dot was done dirty in the end and never got the right send-off anyways. So ultimately it's hard to fix something that has never been addressed. At least they got rid of the retcon that Rocky was Dottie's dad, though. That would have been a fucking nightmare. But there we go. Do you think Dot's legacy has been done dirty? Would you love to see more Cottons on the square? What do you reckon? Tell us in the comment section down below. I've been Ash from Watching Walford, been joined by Peggy.
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram and Twitch at Watching Walford. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Watching Walford. If you want more of Ash, Mr. Ashy there. You can follow him on YouTube at Aquadreams, Twitch at Aquadreams, and Twitter /X at Real Aquadreams. And you want some wrestling content, some good old wrestling content, where we will cover EC Dub. It
is on a bit of a break right now.
Yeah, it is on a bit of a break, but if you want to see us cover it when we get back, then just give us a cheeky subscribe at One More Match 182 and see how like Vince did the Doc Cotton of ECW wrong, which is just ECW. You could very much say that ECW was like Doc Cotton, and then Vince brought them in and went, well, pal, fuck you. So yeah, subscribe. Just remember, Dot does have a legacy, but her legacy has been muddied. I feel like if Chris Glenshaw got his hands on writing a few years before the previous writers, he would have gave her a proper send off. In my opinion, I think he would have gave her a proper send off, and she would have had a perfect death. That sounds wrong, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so yeah,
no, I completely agree.
So yeah, just subscribe, and if you like this, just follow us. It's the Christmas season, or it's coming into Christmas, unless it's been released in the New Year. Then hope you're. I can't believe that body on the floor was. Can't believe that body on the floor was insert name here. So yeah, we'll see you in the next one. See ya.
Bye bye.